High triple at 455. He's been on TV 55 times, but each of those appearances skins. So this is his very first singles competition head-to-head.
Let's get right to it. Jeff Atkins and Jay Leach from Leda Lanes in Nashua. Candlepin Stars and Strikes. We're ready to go on WNDS TV 50. We'll be right back. Last week it was number 5, Jeff Atkins, beating number 4, Bub Ellis. Now Jeff Atkins tries to climb another rung in the ladder, but standing in his way is 3rd seed Jason Leach of Nashua. Waiting in the wings, Bob Betancourt and Bob Whitcomb. And we're ready to go. First to bowl here this afternoon, Jeff Atkins from Springfield, Massachusetts, our 5th seed. Right on the nose and right through the front door with a spread eagle.
Things can only get better when you start that way with a spread eagle.
Jeff had to really sweat it out last week in the win against Bub Ellis. Bub had a chance at the end of the match as Atkins starts with a 6 box.
That's very true. As I recall, Bub Ellis missed a very simple spare in the 9th frame.
And one in the 10th frame that he had an opportunity.
That's right. He needed 19 pins. So it was a backdoor victory for Jeff Atkins, who actually performed very well in the 10th frame.
He had a crucial spare in the 10th frame.
Yeah.
To really put the pressure on Bub Ellis. Missed the head pin. So 44-year-old Jeff Atkins, a letter carrier from Springfield, Massachusetts, will bowl his first 2 boxes without a mark. And we will see for the first time this year Jay Leach from Nashua, New Hampshire, 29 years old, a machinist at ME Engineering in Pelham, New Hampshire. He's worked there for 10 years. Not his first time in front of the TV cameras. He appeared on the Skin Show on Channel 50 5 times previously. But this is his first singles match, and he bowls right here at Leda Lanes. And a spare opportunity goes by the boards. He averages 120, a high single of 188. Starts out with a 9 box, a high triple 455. A 676 in the roll-off to gain his 3rd seed in this stepladder series. We're looking for a 7th participant in our Tournament of Champions.
Well, how do you, Dick, how do you hit the hit pin? I mean, he hit it right in the 1-3 pocket, and he leaves the whole back row in addition to the 5 pin. He's got some kind of side spin on the ball. Very similar style to a 10-pin bowler.
Nice smooth delivery.
Very smooth delivery, but some kind of side spin that would have caused that.
That one got away. So both bowlers will be markless through the first 2 boxes. And an 8 box. And a 17. Early match jitters for both bowlers. We'll attribute it to that.
Good as explanation as I can think of. More familiar faces in the coming weeks. Bob Betancourt, who joined us a couple ladders ago. Bob Whitcomb, who lost 2 weeks ago in the championship week of the 6th ladder. So we have familiar faces in addition to Jeff Atkins today.
4 horsemen right side with a piece of wood. And again, the head pin still standing. Box and 26 through 3. Jeff really worked hard in his match with Bub Ellis last week. His 2nd string, he had some bonus money, putting 3 marks together. And there, once again, we see another dancing pin. We saw several of those last week.
Yeah, the 9 pin got moved a little bit to the left, creating an even greater gap. And the wood isn't all that helpful.
Well, it might ricochet a ball in the right direction. If he plays the wood and gets a little angle off the wood, I might take a shot at it that way.
In this game, anything is worth considering.
Jeff sizing it up, taking his time. He's a very deliberate bowler. Didn't get it. And the 2 pins still stand. We'll take one of them. 35 through 4 as we look for our first mark of this match. Jay Leach is 29 years old. And once again, right on the head pin, and look what's still standing.
Easier to say what went down. That would be the 1 and the 8, and everything else is still there.
That's even more bizarre than the other one. I started to say he's been a busy 29-year-old with a very young family. His wife, Michelle, and he have 3 children, 3 young children. Nicholas, age 6, Chelsea, age 4, and young daughter Morgan, just 7 months old.
This time he's got the 4 horsemen on the left side and the 9 pin remaining in the back row.
That's a good-looking spare right there for Jay Leach. Breaks the markless ice. Watch it again as he played this perfectly. Does have a little spin on the ball, a little hook action, as you mentioned, a la a 10-pin bowler, but a nice smooth delivery. Now Jeff Atkins.
Not moving any pins around this time. The 2 are nailed to the deck, it appears, the 6 and the 9.
Threw it past the deadwood as he tried to hit the very left side of the wood and angle it into the pins.
When that would have been the shot, probably a little bit more direct. Well, it's still early. The match is close, and I guess you can experiment a little bit.
Those early misses count as much as the late misses, though, when it comes down to the nitty-gritty if you're in a close match.
That's very true.
They can really come back to haunt you. Now the wood is set up pretty well here for him, as he looks for his first mark of the match. Sizing up the deadwood. Look at that pin still standing. I don't believe what I see. Neither does Jeff.
Don't know if we're going to have another look at that, but if we can, it would be great to see a replay.
10 box for Jeff Atkins. That was really something. Now Leach working on a spare.
Very makeable spare with some favorable wood in front of the 4 and the 7. He'll shoot it cross lane from right to left.
2 marks in a row for Jay Leach, and he takes the early lead in the match. Missed the head pin, but look, they're still going. They're still falling. A 6-pin drop.
Caught a nice break that he got the 5-pin to go a little bit to the left, which may help him if he hits it right.
Yep. He did. That's a $50 shot for Jay Leach. First bonus money of the match belongs to the hometown favorite. You'll watch it again, as the wood sitting in the middle certainly helped him out there. So now Jeff Atkins finds himself in a little bit of a hole early in the match. A high single of 211, as you see. Atkins right on the head pin.
Congratulations, Jeff Atkins, winner of the WCBC Pro Tour stop at Mohegan Bolodrome in Webster back on March 14th and 15th. And we'll tell you who the top bowlers, rating-wise, men and women were now that all 6 tournaments have been completed.
Jeff makes his first mark of the match.
Top 10 for the men, excuse me, Dick, include Craig Holbrook, who ended up being the overall bowler for the WCBC this year. Dave Richards, who we saw last fall, second. Jeff Atkins, who you're watching now, came in third. Gary Carrington, who sits atop the Tournament of Champions seed ladder, came in fourth, and Det Klein, number 5. That, again, is all 6 tournaments taken into account, and the tournament with the lowest score in each respective bowler gets dropped out.
All sorts of possibilities with the wood here as Jeff tries to size it up. There's wood all over the lane. This looks like one of those shots that you can't miss, but somehow we've seen too many exceptions. No, that's 10 pin's going to still stand. .83 through 8 for Jeff Atkins, and Jay Leach has 3 marks in a row.
As we watch Jay Leach step up, I'd like to acknowledge the top 5 women bowlers in the WCBC this year. And they would include Joanne Rosano, number 1. Congratulations to her. Janet Pock was second. Cynthia Cawley, number 3. Johnny Brown is 4. Valerie Joy, the number 5 bowler for this year's WCBC Pro Women's Tour.
Well, the consecutive mark string comes to an end. And a 10 box for Jay Leach, a 12-pin lead in the match. But he comes up against an open frame.
Just a quick thank you to Tony Zernicke for providing Candlepin Stars and Strikes with good coverage of the Pro Tour this year, and we'll continue next season to keep you updated on the monthly stops.
4th mark of the string for Jay Leach. His consecutive mark streak was interrupted by a miss of a very makeable spare. A 5-14 high triple for Jeff Atkins. Full on the head pin.
Yeah, the one pin you thought would go stayed.
For Jeff Atkins.
Well, in all his visits to Candlepin Stars and Strikes this season, he's really only hit his average 1 time. And he lost to Tom Morgan 412 to 392. That was back in December.
A 102 first string for Jeff Atkins. Jay Leach looks to carry a significant lead into the 2nd string. Right on the head pin. Well, every pin now is part of the lead. Another makeable spare that Jay was unable to convert. He has 112, a 10-pin lead with a box to go.
He could really pump it up to about 30 pins with a couple of marks here.
Crossing over to the Brooklyn side, trying to stay out of the split. There goes the 10-pin.
Fan favorite here at Leda Lanes. This is his home bowling center.
And the wood rolling next to the 7-pin rolls away and apparently will settle away. No, it's going to come back to it. There it comes, right up against it. Now rolling back the other way. Oh, man. It won't stop.
It's kind of in that do I use it or do I not position.
And Jay backs off because the pin just won't stop rolling. Back and forth it goes.
It's got kind of a hypnotic thing. I'm getting very sleepy watching it.
It's still rolling, as you can see. It's slowing down, but it's still moving. And he's going to play it and take it.
And why not? That's what it's there for.
122, a 20-pin lead, plus whatever he gets on this ball. A 30-pin lead for Jay Leach over Jeff Atkins as we head to the second string of Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on WNDS TV 50. Jay Leach takes a 30-pin lead into the second string of the match with Jeff Atkins as Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues here at Leda Lanes in Nashua. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin. And we're happy to have you with us. And he picks one pin. He's had some strange first balls. In the first string, he had several weird hits and still managed a 132. And he had a couple of makeable spares that he didn't make. He could have had a real huge string in the first string.
Could have been 150, 160 with just a couple of breaks.
Now
sure.
He chops on the other side. And he puts it right through. That's a 3-box to start out. How often do you see that?
Too often as far as Jason is concerned, I'm sure. He'll just wipe that one away and start clean here in the second frame.
That one's on the head pin and
some good wood,
but not very forgiving. Still, the wood is angled not very well, I don't believe.
No, it started out to be, but it kind of turned a little more perpendicular.
But it does give him a ricochet opportunity here.
Look at that. Came up with nothing.
So Jeff Atkins down 30 will have a chance to make up some big chunks of that through the first 2 boxes. Just 11 through 2 boxes of the second string for Jay Leach.
More embarrassing than anything else, probably.
Let's see if Atkins is able to capitalize on this opportunity right off the bat. Well, it moved the 5-pin.
You didn't expect it to go down, did you, Jeff?
It's now the 5.5 pin that's standing.
Talked to him a little bit about that last week after his match. And I'm not sure how new those pins are, but until they start getting nicked and dinged around the bottom, they're really flattened and tend to slide instead of fall over.
Starts out with a spare.
I don't know if these are the pins we've been using since the beginning of the season back in October or not.
Watch the shot again. Watch that 5-pin move as it gets nicked by the rolling wood and starts to slide. It does a couple of dances, doesn't it?
Moves a good 4 or 5 inches.
On the spare. And the strike, and a good chunk of Jay Leach's 30-pin lead has been eaten up in 2 boxes.
Essentially almost everything if he fills well in the next frame.
Atkins saw an opportunity and he seized it.
And that can be intimidating. for anybody bowling against Jeff Atkins.
$9 for Jay Leach. He continues to struggle here in the second string.
Actually only been bowling 8 years, so he got started as an adult.
A second pocket hit there leaves him a spare opportunity. The 1-3-7. And he punches the one straight through. Jeff Atkins looking for bonus money and looking to close the gap. Talk about climbing a mountain, and he is doing it in a big hurry. A 30-pin deficit erased in no time.
And that really should have been a double strike. This could have been the big $1,075 shot here, which of course it's not.
Once again, the pin move. Look at those pins dance and not go down.
All right, we need an investigation. What is going on down there? And he seems to be the only one doing it.
It's the 4-pin and the, is it the 9
I
that
think it's
danced
the 9.
over?
I think it's the 9, yes.
To right behind the 4.
Looks pretty good, though. I should be able to nail it here.
3 marks in a row is $50 in bonus money. And he has the lead in the match.
Boy, that's the quickest recovery of 30 pins I think I've ever seen.
And a solid 5-pin still stands.
Jeff Atkins is in the zone, Dick.
Looking for $20 to add on to the bonus money total. Missed it. The consecutive mark streak ends at 3. A 10 box and a 9-pin lead in the match for Jeff Atkins. As we near the halfway point, we'll take a break, and Candlepin Stars and Strikes will continue from Leda Lanes in Nashua on WNBS TV 50. Jay Leach has seen his 30-pin lead disappear, and we're ready to go with Jay ready to bowl in the 5th frame of the second string, as Jeff Atkins leads the string by 39 pins and the match by 9. That is remarkable.
Yeah, there's really been a 39-pin swing in just 4 frames.
Leach unable to convert.
Our runner-up today takes home $175. The winner goes on to meet Bob Bettencourt next week, who we saw back in early March.
A 39.5 for Jay Leach.
That was definitely a more relaxed, smoother release, and he came out with a good result there. 2 and the 4.
And he'll take the spare. Just barely, but he'll take it. His first mark of the second string. Now Jeff Atkins, who started the string with 3 marks in a row. Leaves a dinner bucket.
Still the 4 and the 5 remain.
A 78 half.
Exactly double what Jay has.
But now he's up against a mark.
So for all the great bowling Jeff Atkins did to start out the first half of this game, he's made just enough ground back and a meager lead. So the pressure remains on.
There's a perfect strike for Jeff Atkins as he responds to the mark put up by Jay Leach. We were talking with Atkins before the match began about his bowling shoes, and the shoes that he has are 3 or 4 years old. But if you ever watch a pitcher, there's a strike by Leach on the spare. So Jay warms up a little bit here in the second string. A pitcher wears out a pair of cleats in a certain spot for dragging his toe, and Jeff has worn out his bowling shoes in virtually the same spot. An 8-pin drop and a chance for 3 marks in a row here for Jay Leach.
Yeah, Jeff says he has some new shoes at home, just hasn't broken them in yet. I don't think you want to break in new shoes when you're bowling on television either.
But it's funny, the rest of his shoes look perfect except for that spot on that
right.
toe. And 3 marks in a row for Jay Leach as he bounces back after a very sluggish start in the second string. Now Atkins working on a strike. Can he break out of the split? He cannot, as hard as he tried.
Looked like it was going down. The 7 stayed. That's some wood in front that should help. Well, now one is into the channel. Will he split him right up the middle, do you think, Dick?
I might take a shot at
Yeah.
that. I might try the wood on the left. The right side of the wood on the left. Look at that. He almost got it to dance across.
Great effort.
$10 and a 107.
And things are tightening up in a hurry again.
Well, those 3 marks in a row put up by Jay Leach shifted the momentum a little bit back to Jay. Now Atkins up against a spare. To maintain the lead, he needs to mark right here. A little thin hit, but still a spare chance here for Jeff Atkins. You get a good look at the crowd behind Jeff Atkins. Another great turnout. And a terrific shot by Jeff to pick up the spare. As you can see, it's a 2-pin differential right now. And again, we've seen more dancing pins today than we've seen in a long time. In last week's match, we saw dancing pins. Oh, he threw that one away. He just did not like that one. That one got away from him. .105 for Jay Leach. Don't forget he had a 39 half. Another one that got away from him. But look at this. Look at this.
Where did those pins come from? The head pin remains. On what looked to be a really bad hit. There were 6 pins standing and suddenly just 1.
You can't turn your back on the pins in Candlepin bowling.
That is a big, big break.
Sure, 115 plus a ball. And considering he had a 39 first half,
Yeah,
this will turn out to be a remarkable string.
80, 85 half.
6 pins, a 121.
That was a, what, an 82?
82
half.
second half.
Beautiful.
Now Jeff Atkins working on a spare. Not much needs to be said about that one.
Nine-pin last to go. And he does it in the what's called the foundation frame, the 9th, setting up everything for the 10th.
He's working on a pretty big string. On the headpin. Tough shot here. He'll try to slide the 2 into the 6. .156. Second string for Jeff Atkins. And he will take a 5-pin lead in the match into the 3rd and final game. We have ourselves a horse race as Jeff Atkins leads Jay Leach by 5 as Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues from Lido Lanes in Nashua on WNDS TV 50. At the end of our series, of course, we have our Tournament of Champions, and thus far we have 6 qualifiers. We're looking for a 7th. Gary Carrington, Mike Morgan, Rob Burkeel, Joe Ashline, Rich Clark, and Hawk Hallis have all qualified, and perhaps our 7th qualifier will be one of the 2 bowlers we are watching here this afternoon as Jeff Atkins takes a 5-pin lead into the 3rd string of the match with 3rd seed Jay Leach. Atkins the 5th seed, 2nd seeded Bob Betancourt, and top seed Bob Whitcomb waiting in the wings. Atkins starts out. Look at that.
That is amazing.
That takes the cake. That one, of all the pins that have danced, that one takes the cake. Save that one for the archives.
That may have been the 4-pin.
It's now the 7-pin.
I mean the 6-pin, I think it was. That was
Look at Jeff
stunning.
Atkins talking to himself, and I can't blame him.
But he's got pretty good wood, actually.
Well, my goodness gracious. I don't think I've ever seen a pin move that far.
That is amazing.
No, it didn't touch the deadwood either. That was unbelievable. You'll get a chance to see that again in a second here. As Jeff takes a 10 box to start out. Watch this shot again and watch how far that pin was. The 5-pin. The 5-pin moves all the way over to become the 7-pin. Unbelievable.
Funny for us, not so funny for Jeff Atkins. Wow. Well,
good work in the truck from our replay operator Dave McCarthy, our entire TV 50 crew working here at Lido Lanes today. Our director Larry Taylor, chief engineer Paul Hunter. The cameras are manned by Steve Giordani, Steve Draus, and Matt Woodson. Lisa Laws handling graphics, Ken Knight's on audio, and the official scorer here at Lido Lanes is Chris Bovier, all making it possible for you to see Candlepin Stars and Strikes every week on WNDS TV 50, and Jeff Atkins is about ready for the home after these first 2 boxes.
That was quite an adventure.
A 5-pin that moved a foot and a spare that didn't happen. And look at that. Jay Leach responds. When opportunity knocks, Jay Leach answers. Right in the pocket again. The 7-pin stands.
That is the 7. That's not the 9-pin that slid over, is it? Not the best wood in the world, but I think he can work with this.
He did. The spare goes inside the strike, and Jay Leach has taken the lead back again. Jeff Atkins steps to the line, the 44-year-old letter carrier from Springfield, Massachusetts. This is his 4th ladder appearance on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. In his previous appearances, he lost the only match in each round. In the first match, he was the 2nd seed and lost to Gary Carrington. In the second match, he was the 2nd seed and lost to Tom Morgan. Most recently, he was the 3rd seed and lost to Gary Santora. But last week, he broke that losing streak with the win over Bub Ellis. Box.
Hit the roadblock, sent the ball around the pin.
Well, now Jeff Atkins finds himself in a bit of a quandary here. And he responds with a solid shot, but leaves the 5-pin standing. As Jay Leach has started out, much the way Jeff Atkins started the 2nd string when he came from 30 pins back and erased those 30 pins in a big hurry. Spare for Atkins in the 4th. Now Jay Leach.
Jay Leach has been effective, but he's been very erratic today. It's been really tough to predict what he's going to do next.
Just like that.
Not a whole lot of television experience. We've seen him on TV 50 for the Skin Show 5 times. Look at this.
Watch out, watch out.
Giving us a thrill, nearly making the spread eagle.
You cannot turn your back on these pins. And he finishes with a 9 box.
Nice hand for a great effort on that.
From box to box, we have a 1-pin match. And again, he tries to mix them up on the right side. But Atkins has a spare in the 4th. Depending on what Jeff Atkins puts inside the spare, he stands to widen his lead a little bit. 4 boxes complete of our final string here at Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. We continue. We have ourselves a horse race. Don't go away. Jeff Atkins working on a spare in the 4th box of the 3rd string in a very close match with Jay Leach. Put 7 in the spare.
And box to box, we're even.
Now Jeff Atkins looks for some bonus money. He has $50 in bonus money in the match. Jay Leach has $100 in bonus money in the match. Bonus money is nice, but the winner gets to advance.
And the goal being to get to the Tournament of Champions, where $1,500 is the top prize. That'll be happening in June, the last week of the tournament. Rocking wood once again.
False start for Jeff that time. Look at that shot, and look at Jeff's reaction.
He threw everything at the 10 pin. All 4 of the other pins in that direction. still standing.
71 through 6 for Jeff Atkins. How does that pin still stand? Watch it again as he put the ball just where it had to be, and everything went by it. Now Jay Leach.
Six pins still there. A very, very close match. Missed that one by quite a bit.
Atkins with a 6-pin lead, box to box in the match,
And an identical lead from his last frame.
Well, after starting out with a couple of marks in the third string, Jay Leach has cooled off a little bit. Jeff Atkins has added 2 pins to his advantage, and he leads by 7 with 4 frames to go.
Had a lot of scoring fireworks last game, 156 to 121. Things have slowed from a pace point of view here.
Jeff nails a head pin, and the wood is problematic right now.
Been a very frustrating match for Jeff Atkins. Just getting some terrible breaks. And you can
Just
add that
like
to
that.
the list. Well, he started out today at 44 years of age. He may age another 5 or 6 years before we're done here.
And he'll take a 10 box. But each open frame leaves the door open for Jay Leach, and Jeff knows that as well.
Must be a helpless feeling to be throwing the ball so well and not really putting any numbers up on the board to speak of.
Jeff started out as the 5th seed, defeated his 4th seed Bub Ellis last week. Jay Leach is seeded 3rd, and Jeff with a spread eagle. Bob Bettencourt will play the winner of this match next week. Jeff picks a single pin. And another single pin, a 6 box. Now Jay Leach with an opportunity to get right back into it. And they keep on falling.
Yeah, he's only up against 16 pins for these next 2 from Jeff Atkins, so he could really take advantage. Look at this.
Watch out.
He's gonna
Watch
get it.
out. There it
is.
goes. Yep, here it comes again. Watch that wood, line it up. But he only filled it with 3.
Part of the inconsistency in Jay's game today. Things like that. But we're all guilty of that in Candlepins.
Will it go? 2 marks in a row. And the lead in the match.
2 marks in a row, but not a whole lot of damage because of the very small fill in the 7th frame. So Jeff Atkins now needs to put the afterburners on and throw a couple marks at Jay Leach, or he'll be on his way back to Springfield.
Well, the match is even, but Jay Leach has a ball.
That's right.
So Jay Leach has the lead by whatever he gets on his next ball. So Jeff Atkins, knowing that, needs to finish strongly. The 9-pin still stands.
Strike would have been nice, and certainly the hit was good enough.
Right on the money. Very important spare for Jeff Atkins.
A lot of pressure on that shot, too.
Those pins get smaller and smaller as the
I've noticed that, yes.
match gets closer and closer.
Packed house looks on here.
Big shot here for Atkins.
Good fill and a very makeable spare, which will pretty much force Jason to throw a good fill and at least one mark between the 9th and the 10th frame.
Missed it. Jay Leach needs a 120 to tie the match, a 121 to win the match. On the spare.
That's the way to do it. And he's got it.
Here it comes again. Responding to the challenge. Jay Leach looks for 2 in a row. The match is tied. The match is still tied. However, Jason Leach has another box. So Jason Leach will advance. 10 box. And a 131 for Jason Leach. And a win over Jeff Atkins by 11 pins. We'll come back to meet our bowlers at Leda Lanes in Nashua when we continue with Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV 50. .384 to .373. It is Jay Leach defeating Jeff Atkins, and the check for $175 to Mr. Atkins. Have you ever seen pins dance like we were watching them today?
Yeah, that was something, huh? I don't know. I'm going to have nightmares, I think.
Well,
but Jay bowled great, so I can't take anything away from him.
Congratulations. Hope to see you again soon. Jeff Atkins from Springfield, Massachusetts. Now our winner, Jay Leach, will bowl a bonus ball, and we'll see if we can match him up. Oh, it was almost a 7. 7 seems to be the lucky number. Now Mike Moran will reach into the barrel, which is full of postcards, and we will pull out a card that belongs to Claire Guy of Lawrence, Massachusetts. Claire picked 7, almost, but not a match, and the consolation prize, a set of mugs from N&R Trophies in Winchendon, Massachusetts, to Claire Guy. And 10 strings of bowling to Mr. Joseph Potvin of Laconia, New Hampshire. His was the second card drawn out, and Leda Lanes will contribute 10 strings of bowling, and will bring Jay Leach in and congratulate Jay. That was a roller coaster match, wasn't it? Up and down and up and down again.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to take advantage of a few breaks I got, and Jeff didn't get any breaks, and it's a good thing I caught him on a little bit of an off day.
Any advantage to being a Leda Lanes bowler, to bowl on these lanes as often as you do?
Maybe a little bit. I hear the crowd a lot more cheering.
Well, congratulations. We'll see you next week. Good. That's Jay Leach, and he will be back next week as we continue up the ladder.
Yes, Bob Betancourt is the #2 seed who was beaten by Tom Morgan on the 1st of March. So Bobby Betancourt back again next week as we get closer to the Tournament of Champions.
We'll see you then from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. For Mike Morin and our entire WNDS TV 50 crew, I'm Dick Lutz. Thanks for watching. So long, everybody. See you again on Candlepin Stars and Strikes.